गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Jnaneshwari, which is Bhagavad Gita by Jnaneshwar Maharaj, in the 18th chapter, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and we are in the 17th verse. And in the 16th verse, we saw what were the symptoms, what were the signs, who is a Durmati, and who is Durmati? The one who takes himself to be the doer is Durmati. We saw the 5 causes, and those 5 causes are self-perpetuating, self-propelling, and that's how the activity happens. But when a person takes the ownership of the activity or gets identified with the activity, then that activity is called as karma. Activity by itself is neither good nor bad. So the word for activity is kriya. Activity with identification is karma. Karma phala can be good or bad. Kriya phala means the result of kriya is always good. See, you make this difference in your life, everything is changed. Don't identify with any damn thing in life. No thought, no emotion, no action. Hey. It's that, but you have to be alert for that. It must go deep into your psyche and your heart that everything is propelled by itself by matter. Those 5 causes: body, the devas, the pranas, the what else was there? Adhishtan, devas. Yeah. The body, the agent, the doer, the sense organs, and sense organs, including the mind, sense organs and the mind and the presiding deities. So these were self-propagating. And if we disidentify, today someone came and asked, they said, how do we disidentify? You don't have to disidentify. You can't, because you can't you understand what I'm saying? You can't disidentify. Why? Why you can't disidentify?
There's nothing to be identified.
You are attached to that, so you can't disidentify because you are looking at it, and then how can you disidentify that, Swamiji?
You are attached to what?
If you have some attention towards something, then you can't disidentify that because you own that you have the connection with that.
If you give attention to something, that means you are identified.
Yes.
So I am saying, can you disidentify?
No.
Why?
No.
Wait, someone is answering.
Because your true state is one where you are identified.
Oh, okay. He says your true state is where identification is not possible. Agree or not agree? Please call us all for lunch or bhiksha and we'll have a good argument. Discussion, not argument. Why should I say argument? See, this is what the topic of the next verse is. Because the wise man has recognized that Atma, the self, the pure consciousness, is of the nature of absolute. And these five causes are the part of the relative. That is where relativity is taking place. That is where the agent, the devas, the god, devas meaning gods, the productive potential, the power behind each instrument, the mind, the senses, and the body. All these are Prakriti. Prakriti is what? Changing. Atma is what? Unchanging. How can both get identified? To get identified with something, both need to be of the same quality. Oil and water can never mix. So in that, we'll get into that when the next verse begins. So we are here in the 16th verse, we are talking about Durmati, the one with a perverted intellect. Mati is the mind or perverted mind. Who is perverted mind? The one who takes anatma or these five causes as the self. And for him, there is karma phala. For him, there is past and future. For him, there is seeking. For him, there is liberation. For him, there is everything. The entire journey, the leela, the game that is going on is for this fellow who has taken the five causes to be real. Anatma as real. Now we'll go to the one who has taken Atma to be real. That is the 17th verse. What is his disposition? What are his symptoms? What is his angle of approach? Because both of these people are living in the same world. They are having the same circumstances. The Sumati or Durmati, both are having the body. Both are having these five causes. Both are having the Atma. Both are the Atma, the self. Then where is the difference? I have already answered while telling the Durmati, but let's see what extra is going to be revealed to us. The verse, 17th verse, Yasya naham kruto bhavo, Yasya naham kruto bhavo, buddhir yasya na lipyate, buddhir yasya na lipyate, Hatvapi sa iman lokan, Hatvapi sa iman lokan, Nahanti na nibadhyate, Nahanti na nibadhyate. Together, Yasya naham kruto bhavo, Buddhir yasya na lipyate, Hatvapi sa iman lokan, Nahanti na nibadhyate. He who has no egoistic feeling, first part, what is that? Yasya na aham kruto bhavaha, having no sense of ownership, egoistic feeling. How do we know we are the ego? How do we know? If you say, I don't have ego, oh, then you have. No, you are the ultimate. I am no one. I am dust of your feet. I got no, I am nobody, nothing in front of you, O Lord. This is also ego. This is also ego. Why God doesn't save me? I am thinking about him for so long. This is also ego. I am, studying Vedanta, also ego. Who is listening? Also ego. Who is speaking? Also ego. Ego meaning the equipment here. How do you understand the ego? What are the symptoms? What are the two attributes by which you recognize ego as ego? Tell me, anyone? I said it, repeated it many times.
Likes and dislikes.
Likes and dislikes precipitate memory. But what is ego I'm talking about? The agent we are talking about.
A doer and enjoyer.
Good.
Doer and
Aham na karta na bhokta. Meaning, ego expresses as doer on one hand and enjoyer on the other hand. These are the two expressions by which we can understand that ego is expressing. And why does it do something? In order to enjoy. Why does it enjoy? And whatever it enjoys, it wants to do again and again. See, the agent, we are talking about here, the agent. Agent is the one. It keeps propelling. So, naham krito bhavaha. Bhava. Bhava is the feeling. It is only a feeling. You have accepted yourself as body and you call yourself a male. It's only a feeling. What about that? You know, nowadays these LGBTQT or QBTLG something, I don't know what it is. But so many of them are there. You see on the TV, one day they are man, next day they are woman. One day they are woman, next day they are man. Some of them are hanging in between. So what makes them go in one direction? Their bhav that I think I am more a woman, not a man. What makes you? Who told you that you are a man? Only the society. In our society, it is very, what is the highest Atithi Devo Bhava, we say, no? Atithi Devo, the guest is God. So what do you do for the God? You give him respect, speak nicely, give him food, etc., etc., etc. Give him respect. And acha, you have come for, okay, now you have met me. From the door only, you don't send them back, send the guest back, isn't it? But in Eskimos, what is the highest way of treating a guest? You know? You know? Yeah. Tell. The highest way among the Eskimos is because it's a cold region. And in the cold region, if a guest comes, if they allow him to sleep with his wife for warmth, that is the highest respect that is given to the guest. Now, that seems far-fetched from your notion of what is right and wrong, isn't it? In the Indians, not our India, Bharat India, the American Indians, it was a matriarchal society. And any time the woman wanted a child or a girl wanted a child, man never used to select the girl. The girl will select the man. Swayamvar, apne idhar bhi Swayamvar hota tha na. And what was the basis? She will see whose vitalities are strong, whose character is good, and there were different competitions there at that time. And she's observing because they are at home, men are going to go for hunting and gathering, and they are always eyeing. And they used to select. And not this year it is with this one, second time it's with someone else. They were the choosers. And that was that is the norm, maybe even today. I don't know. See? So what is the norm? See? Why I'm bringing these few examples? It's only you have accepted the norms, you have accepted the notion that I am a man or I am a woman. You have accepted the notion that this is called a body and I am the body. So why don't you change the notion that I am the spirit? I am the pure consciousness. Another example I'll give you. Once you exchange the rings in church or in marriage, the garland is exchanged and the husband puts the Mangal Sutra around the Indian woman's neck. From that moment on, something shifts between the man and the woman. And before they were considering themselves bachelors, now they are considering themselves married. Isn't it? What has changed is the same body. Nothing outwardly has changed. Only their acceptance has changed. If that alone makes the difference between a bachelor and a married person, and for that some rituals are made so that we accept it, so because we want to hang on to something. Here we are hanging on to Bhagavad Gita. We are hanging on to Upanishads. Why don't we accept? Why don't we continuously have this communication with us, which is in the background, that I am the pure consciousness, I am the absolute one, I am not the body. It's only a question of, you are a waker, you accept that you want to sleep. You only accept. Therefore, you go to sleep. You shift. I am looking at you all. I am a teacher. The moment I even think of my mother, immediately the son starts expressing. Only I have accepted that, isn't it? What has changed? I'm still the same. So if this mind has to program itself, let it not become the doer or enjoyer and accept the anatma, the changing, as the real. Let it accept that its essence is real. Because this whole drama is going where? Is it going on in the world? Where is it going? In the mind. So mind is extrovert. It's interacting with the thoughts, and the agent is interacting with the thoughts and creating certain, as you said, raga, dvesh, having some feeling. I think I like this. If I get married to this person, I'll be happy. If I have a child, I'll be happy. If I eat this food, I'll be happy. If I go to a world tour, I'll be happy. If I build a house, I'll be happy. And you keep going on from day in and day out, you're doing this. But we have never taken a moment away out of this. The mind has not taken the I. What is mind? Again, I tell, what is mind? A play between the subject and the object, isn't it? And how does the subject and object play with each other? Through the instruments. Correct? That's how the interaction is going on. So instead of the subject interacting with the object, this is what mind is. See, let that go on. It doesn't matter. Let the thoughts come. But who are you? Are you the subject or are you the eternal subject? Are you the relative subject or are you the absolute subject? Are you the subject which comes and goes with every thought, Triputi? Or are you the subject which is the ever present in spite of all the experiences coming and going? Naham krito bhavaha. Aham krito. I am not the doer of anything. This is how the masters live. They do not become anyone. They allow all the objects of experiences to come as a thought, because mind is interacting, because the whole world is nothing but the mind alone. So they are allowing you. That's I was telling this person today, that mind is nothing but the flow of thoughts. It is its nature. Just as you have got, are you the doer of breath? Are you the doer of heartbeat? Are you the doer of seeing, or seeing is happening? Some idiot is born. I think I like this. Then the seer is born. I think I don't like this person's presence. Then the seer is born. But otherwise, Are the eyes disturbed by what is being seen or not seen? No. Are the ears disturbed by what is heard or not heard? Mind is also not disturbed by what type of thoughts are coming. They are coming. Who is disturbed? Someone. The agent is disturbed. Now you decide, are you the agent? If you are the agent, ahankar, because it's identifying. When it identifies, then karta, bhokta, doer and enjoyer. If you choose not to, then what do? Remain witness. Stand apart. Oh, it's so difficult. The thoughts are so. Catch your breath. It's going on incessantly from the time of birth. You were not born with thoughts. You were born with breath. With the first breath, you became conscious. And it is incessantly going on. So sit and watch your breath. It's coming in, it's going out, it's coming in, it's going out. It's the easiest way to fall into watching. Thoughts can sometimes pull, if there are strong, there's some emotion attached to some idea in your mind with some thought, you can be pulled away and you lose the plot. But breath is neutral. So hold on, not hold on, sorry, wrong language. Observe, just sit 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, begin with 5 minutes. Or what are you doing? Just watching. The breath is going in, it goes all the way to the navel, then it begins its journey back. Just be aware. You don't breathe in or breathe out. Breathing and breathing out is automatically happening. All you're doing is watching the process, watching the process, watching the process. And very quickly, you fall into witnessing. Then from the breath, you move on to the mind. It will automatically happen. You don't even have to force yourself. When you are ready, when the fruit is ripe, it falls from the tree. When the fruit is ripe, our Trambakam yajame, urvarukamiva bandhanat, mrityor mukshiyam amritat. Huh? When the fruit is ripe, when the pumpkin is ripe, it can't fall, man. You will die. Then what happens? When the pumpkin is ripe, the plant which gave birth to the pumpkin, it leaves the ripe pumpkin. It leaves the ripe. Actually, I am taking pumpkin because it's big in size. Actually, it is cucumber. But cucumber is chota bata kya hai? Pumpkin, yes, you can have some relationship with it. If it falls on my head, my God. You know? So pumpkin doesn't leave the world. The world leaves the pumpkin. You don't leave the world. The world leaves your mind when you go to sleep. World leaves your mind when you go into samadhi. See? Naham krito bhavaha. We are talking only about this first part. So do not take ownership. Do not identify. Do not become the agent. So becoming is equal to what? I am a seer, I am a hearer, I am a toucher, I am a feeler, I am a thinker, I am a conceptualizer, I am the knower, I am the experiencer, I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper, I am the seeker. That also comes in her. All this is becoming. All this is becoming. Where does all this becoming go when you go to sleep? It all vanishes away. It all vanishes away. So remain apart, stand apart, don't take ownership. And process this right now while you are listening. Don't put it, don't postpone. Don't postpone. Then what does it mean? You know, I ask so many questions. Sometimes the right answers come, sometimes they don't. So what I must be thinking? What is going on through my mind? An observation that maybe they are just entertaining me, you know. And I am entertaining them by speaking for 1.5 hours. Nobody is serious. Neither I am serious nor they are serious. That's why sometimes things, when I expect something or I'm looking for an answer, it is not exact, but it's okay. Why? You're busy with your tea, or you're busy with your WhatsApp, or you're busy with your TV program, which is you put, which is going on in your ear. I don't know. I'm just imagining here. Or dinner is going on, and talk on the video is going on. I can't see. Or audio, I can't see. See? So you are listening, but you are not listening.
It's not listening.
Okay. I'm not here to judge you people, but I'm bringing a principle out of this whole example. So you are listening, but you are not listening. So you listen, you do the same thing when you are listening to me. You listen, allow the ears to listen, allow the thoughts to be formed, but you don't become the owner of these thoughts. So listen, but don't listen. If you listen, but don't listen, where are you then? Where are you? You are the witness. If listening is taking place, yet listening is not taking place, remember our Kena Upanishad, that I know it, yet I don't know it, yet I know it. Similarly, you are witnessing then. Then precipitation of ego will not take place. Where you give value, where you give value. You say, oh, I will start not giving value from now itself. Okay, but then you don't give value to anything in life. If you are able to do that, fantastic. Because this knowledge is, it's secret. Because I say something and you take it literally, and then you will get into trouble. You have to always keep the big picture in your mind and see the way, from which standpoint, what is being told. See?
It's like a mango tree. It doesn't care who comes and eats the fruit or not, or who comes for the sake of it.
It keeps giving the fruits.
They keep giving the fruit.
Atma is also same. It keeps blessing. The self, pure consciousness, it is of the nature, like sun. He is of the nature of heat and light. It keeps giving heat and light. Does he know he is giving heat and light? Does the sun know that he is giving heat and light? No, it is its nature. It is its nature. But we feel blessed, isn't it? Therefore, we chant the Gayatri Mantra. Same is the status of self also. Without the conscious presence, pure consciousness, the whole, these five causes cannot function. They cannot function only. Anyway, we'll see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj says. So, he who has no egoistic feeling, whose understanding is not polluted, buddhir yasya na lipyate. What is lipyate? Lipyate, lep is, you put face mask on your face. Or I don't, but girls or ladies, they put it, lep. Or when you are having some pain, then you make the lep out of flour and haldi and some other things, and hot poultice. Poultice is put on the affected area. That is lep. Or you take the oil, and the oil lep is done. If you go to Ayurveda clinics in India, you're given one langot, and then you lay you down on the bed. Bed means on the bench, wooden bench, and you are sliding on that bench because 4 people, one arm, one other arm, other two with the 2 legs. They are giving you massage. With what? They are doing the lap of oil. When we took sannyas, or I was given sannyas, then I had to have a lap of cow dung from top to bottom. and I had to bake in the sun for 1 hour, half an hour. And then when it was dry, then they took it out. And then I was given the bath with what? With cow urine, lap. I'm talking about lap. So we have put the lap of husband, so we are behaving as wife. Who is behaving as the wife? The buddhi. Where is the, what is expressing out of buddhi? The aham. Understand? Or don't even go there. Even just conviction. You have become convinced that you are the wife. Why you are the wife? Because you have accepted the poultice of husband. Meaning attachment of, you have allowed something to be attached to you. You have allowed something to be identified with. Then the buddhi says, I am the mother, or I am the brother, or I am the sister, or I am successful, or I am a failure, I am healthy or unhealthy, I am hungry or thirsty, and so on. Whatever conclusions that come, it's because we have allowed ourselves to take on the lap, take on the conditioning of something or the other. Isn't it? Conditioning. Another meaning of lap is conditioning. So who is this wise man, Sumati? He does not allow any conditioning of the intellect to take place. Okay. First, he does not become the doer. Then what will be the next step? If the doer, meaning the I, is not becoming someone, then automatically there will be no lap, no identification, because there is no doer. So seeing is happening, but no seer is born. Thinking is happening, but no thinker is born. Waking is happening, but no waker is born. Then instead of all these earths, who is there? The Sakshi, the witness, the pure consciousness. See? Bring this. And this is what I am telling you right now is already happening to you. You have to just become available to it. All the troubles are for the wife, mother, sister, daughter. Woman has got no problems. So anytime you want to become free of all the problems, take the position of the woman, all problems gone. You want to be free of the problems, take the position of man, all the problems gone. Then don't stop there. Then man is body, woman is body. So whatever the problems are at the body level, get out of the body, take a position back. Take the position back. Recognize this is the nature of the body, physical body we are talking about. This is the nature of breath. It will go in and it will come out. What can I do about it? I can't do anything. What can I do about body? Nothing. It was born. It will, one day it will unmanifest. What about breath? I didn't start it, man. It started by itself. It will stop also one day by itself. It's nothing to do with me. So identification gone. If you really come to understand this, that you did not initiate the breath. You did not start the thoughts. Thinking began. That is the nature of the mind. Let it happen. Don't interfere. Don't take the lap on, meaning don't identify. Don't get attached. Don't create convictions which are going to be detrimental to abidance. Don't create convictions which are going to be detrimental to abidance. Then what are the thoughts that we should have, if at all? Lap, meaning if we have to be identified, what we should be identified with? Only the scriptures. Only the scriptures. And out of the scriptures, only the Upanishads. Nobody can stop you from being the pure consciousness within this life before the last breath. Nobody can stop you. When mind is washed completely with the Upanishads day in and day out, how is it possible? Satsang. Don't read, listen. Because what all I'm telling you is not given. It's not all this, it may be given, but it's I suck the essence. It's a summarized view I'm giving you. Because you go and look for, you will misunderstand thoroughly. Oh, but what do you think? You are better than us? No, then go, please go. I'm only telling you what my teacher told me. I'm only telling you what I have practiced. Even today I listen. Even today I listen every day to my teacher. My teacher, to the teacher. My teacher. There you go. Lep lag gaya. Guru Maharaj ka lep lag gaya. Now I'll have to bake myself. Dekho. And then he says, is not polluted. Even if he were to slay these people, he slays not, nor is he bound by his actions. Such a person who has got no ahankar, no ego, and to whom the results, the actions that are taking place, here is a buddhir yasya na lipyate, that no convictions, no doership, no ownership, no identification, no feelings, no actions. In other words, no action ever sticks to his intellect, meaning the I. Such a person, even if he kills the entire world, he has not committed any sin. Why? No doership. It does not propagate that you have to kill the whole world. The principle is being told that he is not the doer. See, Krishna Bhagavan showed Arjuna that the entire Kaurava army was annihilated even before the war began. Is he having a big ego?
Even without him.
I,
Even without him, without Arjuna.
even without Arjuna. So what was Arjuna going to? He was only going to get the credit of it. He says whatever is meant to happen is already happened. We are only looking at one dimension, which is our life. And where is this our life? Only in our mind. And this mind is multidimensional. You can't even imagine. All you have to do is, if you can at all, remember one dream. In some dream you are born and you go through so many lives in one dream, man. In one dream you're a man, next dream you're a woman, third dream you're a child, next dream you're an animal, and it goes on, and suddenly you are a rat, and what do you call? Tom comes and he's after you, and suddenly you wake up. But that was all a dream. It was all a dream. So these are the different dimensions of the mind. But if you give and start trying to find answers in that, why did I do that? Why did I become a woman in the next life? Why did I become a rat in the life after that? This, blah, 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 blah. What did I do? This is what we keep asking, no? What did I do? Where did I go wrong? Your attention is on the anatma. Your attention is on the not self. So do not allow the not self to stick to your intellect. And how do you know what is intellect? Intellect is the subject. Intellect is the I. Mind is the idam. Idam means the object. Ego is I the ego? Yes and no. But which I? Is I the Atma? In essence, yes. Is I the Jivatma? Relatively, yes. Is I the thought? Yes. I know the I only by thought at the moment, even though I am that essence. But what is ego then?
Still,
But which I?
it is the interacting
And-
its ownership.
The I, not just the ownership. It is that I which sees the continuity. Remember in Upanishad or somewhere in Bhagavad Gita, when we saw in some chapter it must have come. But at the moment we are seeing Kena Upanishad, in that also we are saying Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Every thought is formed in your mind because of three factors. What are they? The subject, the object, and the instrument of knowledge. Seer, seen, seeing. Hearer, heard, hearing. Thinker, thought, thoughted. Experiencer, experienced, experiencing. Waker, waking world, and waking instruments through which your waking experience is taking place. Understand? These three have to be there. So when I take a waker, oh, it's a big one, isn't it? In that, how many eyes are there? With every thought, I look at you, I is born. I look at him, again I is born. I look at him. With every object, with every stimuli, a new I is born. And when one stimuli goes away, the I also goes away.
Yes.
Then what is ego? That I which believe, because it is happening so fast, it feels that it is continuous. It feels that it is continuous. And this is what I told this person today. The example that you take the sparkler and you take it round and round and round. It is at any given moment only in one place, but it is giving you the illusion of a continuous circle, right? This is the ego. I, at any given moment, is only in one thought, but it is giving us the illusion that we are a continuous one. Are we continuous? Yes, but as Atma, not as the I thought, not as the I thought, not as the one who is identified. I thought is existing. I thought is existing only because there is that thought, idam. If there is no idam, there is no aham. But it is in the anatma, it is in the prakriti, it is in the mind that this whole rigmarole is going on. And that continuity of the atma, we have superimposed on this imagined continuity of the I. Now, which is this I? Which is identified with something all the time. But who are you? You are the unidentified one. But you are is the water infinite in nature, and is the water expressing as the wave at the same time? Yes. But question is, what does water think? If it thinks I'm only this teeny meeny form, then it is the wave. If it thinks I'm the total form, it's the ocean. If it thinks I'm the infinite one, then it is not identified with either the ocean or the wave, isn't it? Then the idea of wave and ocean just goes out of it because it's abiding in itself, as itself. But is that water expressing through the wave? Yes. And the wave is thinking, I am continuous. Same is our situation. Our essential nature is that of continuous, unborn, undying. That feeling is there. And that we are at the relative level. Relativity means where the consciousness as if, can this marriage between consciousness and matter take place? Not possible. But that is our experience at this moment. That is how we are seeing it. Now in Jnaneshwari, not Jnaneshwari, in Amrit Anubhav, Jnaneshwar Maharaj totally says differently. That's yet another way of looking at it. How? That one alone became Aham and Idam. Shiva and Shakti. That's another way of looking at it. Point is, whichever way you take, are you coming back to be the constant one? So here we are deleting what we are not. There we are beginning that everything is we alone are. But are we coming to the unattached, ever unattached, pure consciousness that we are? So, you wanted to say something?
I'm not sure I do.
Okay, then let it be. Something came and it flew away. And such a person who has got no doership, no ownership, no identification, here it says that even if he kills, he is not a murderer. Now, now with this preamble, let's get into what Jnaneshwar Maharaj says. It's a big, long commentary. 2-3 pages. So what is it? It is about, the topic is Sumati, the one who has an integrated mind. What was a Durmati? Disintegrated mind. Disintegrated mind is when we are extrovert in our disposition, when we are giving value, importance, attention to the anatma / changing / impermanent. Understand? Now we are coming to Sumati. Sumati is integrated mind. Mind can only get integrated when the disturbance in the mind is pacified. When can you see the moon's reflection in the water? When the waves subside in a lake, isn't it? When can you see the reflection of consciousness, even if it is the reflection? When can you see it? Only when. Is it not reflecting all the time, the moon? Yes. Then why you are not able to see? Because too many waves, too much froth, huffing and puffing. गए कहाँ से? कभी नहीं. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. If you are doing too much zest, it will not happen. It has to be cool, relaxed, understanding the total scheme of why whatever is taking place, having the disposition that if the japa is happening at this moment, it is happening by the grace of the divine. He only prompted, he is only making it happen through this mouth. He is only making the mind remain focused on it without distractions. And what will happen? Who cares what will happen? Let's continue. What will happen? Somewhere in satsang will come to know. We don't have to know every damn thing. Because then if you are, otherwise what will it will become? That you are interested in the result more than in what needs to be, what is then remaining witness of what is taking place, not what is to be done. Because we are not the doer, man. You have to be very careful in the language. So you are witnessing. So why? But mind goes in that direction. It is initial stages, it does go. Am I moving in the right direction? Am I doing it right? Do it. Yes. If these questions come, you ask, you clarify, but continue to maintain this poise that everything is happening among these 5. And I am not the doer. Then integration of the mind, because Sumati, Mati means the intelligence, the mind, intellect, Mati is intellect. It will start getting integrated, synchronized. Tari avidyechiya nida विश्वस्वप्नाचा हा धांदा भोगीत होता प्रबुद्धा अनादी जो तो महावाक्याचे निनावे गुरु कृपेचे निथावे माथा हात उठेविला नव्हे थापटिला जैसे तैसा विश्वस्वप्नेसी माया नीद सांडूनी धनंजया सहसा चैला अद्वया नंदपणे जो. O wise Arjuna, he who was experiencing for long the worldly happenings in a dream of ignorance, heard the great proposition Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, you are that. He was awakened from his dream of the world and deep slumber of ignorance into a blissful state by the grace of the Guru, woke him up by placing his hand over his head and patting it. It is only by the grace of the Guru Maharaj. And where is the grace flowing? When is the grace flowing? All the time. But when it becomes specific, very abundantly available, when you are in a satsang. When you are in a satsang. Otherwise, Shankaracharya would not have gone to his teacher to study for 7 years. See, otherwise, why will the Guru Parampara be there? So how do you cultivate this culture of the self? Because you are the self. You are hearing it, then why are you not able to stick with it or be it? Not stick with it, be it. Why? Out of 24 hours, every day, how many satsangs do we do every day? Maybe today, in today's time, maybe we did half an hour of sadhana in the morning, 1 hour of chanting in the afternoon, and 1.5 hours now. What about the rest of the 20 hours? We were distracted. We were living by the default. We were living with at the default level. So it requires a great amount of, but independently you will not be able to do initially. Otherwise, if independently it was possible, everyone would be realized. Everyone would be realized. Yes, Vedanta says that everyone is realized, but do we know it? Then how do we undo this love for the mind, love for the experiences, love for the body, love for the possessions, love for the relation? How do we undo this? How do we stop being the doer? How do we stop being the enjoyer? It's only in a satsang. Again and again, expose wherever, expose yourself to the satsang. And what do you do for the rest of the day? The rest of the day, you put that into practice. What was the practice? You are the witness. Do everything with awareness. Listen with awareness, talk with awareness, drink with awareness, walk with awareness, sleep with awareness, wake up with awareness, bathe with awareness, brush with awareness, not because all the movements are already fixed because we have been doing it for 50 bloody years. Eating is also fixed. 5 times I will chew and then swallow it. Default setting. No, do it with awareness. And the moment you become aware, then all these default settings start melting away. Then what happens when it starts melting away? Integration happens. So what does he say here? See, in the life of Nisargadatta Maharaj, he only once, this mantra, Tattvamasi, only once he heard it in his life. He was there in a small shack and he was making pan and bidi. His friend who used to ask him every day come for the satsang. He never used to go. That day he said, okay, let's go. He called his son, come, you take care. I'm going for 2 hours. He went. He listened to Kenopanishad only. He was listening. We are doing Kenopanishad. Kenopanishad only he was listening. And there the teacher must have, it was a Ramakrishna ashram. And there, whoever the Mahatma was or Swamiji was, he said, Tattvamasi, you are that reality, what I've been, Pratibodhamatam matam. That is, you are that reality. After the lecture he asked, he was on fire. He was on fire. Did he read any book? Did Raman Maharishi read any book? He saw the dead body. Grace. Grace comes like this. Grace comes like this. Who was the grace? How did the grace come to Nisargadatta Maharaj? Through that satsang. How did the grace come to Ramana Maharishi? Through the satsang of watching the dead body passing by. What is this body passing by? He lied down, had the he reenacted what being dead means, came up. He had the outer body experience. That became his satsang. If I am not the body, then who am I? Many people, many years ago, I can tell you so many people have had this experience of outer body. But then either they become drunkards, or they go the wrong way, or they become mental, or they go into drugs. See? How many of them are able to go the way Ramana Maharishi went? If I am watching my body, then I am not the body, then who am I? Ramana Maharishi is a unique one. He began his journey and he kept questioning only that, who am I? And subjectively wanted to know that. Don't try to copy that. Be truthful to yourself. So who am I? If I do not have that focus, that commitment, that vairagya, that dispassion to leave everything like Ramana Maharishi, neither I have the guts to tell my wife that I'm going to lock myself in my room for next 2 years and I'm going to make do DIY. I'll make a small cat door. Please put the food in every day. If I eat, I eat. If I don't, no questions. You have the guts to say that to your wife? She'll throw you out of the house. Nisargadatta Maharaj did it. 2 years he locked himself in the room. After 2 or 3 years, came out a realized master. How many things how many times you have heard that? How many times you have ever contemplated, yeah, I think I should do that. I should go to Himalayas. I should go to an ashram. I will lock myself away. We all went through that. We had done it also. Best is this satsang. Shift must happen without you knowing the shift has happened. That is the best way. That is the most elegant way. That is the most non-confrontational way. No friction. You are enjoying, you listen, you are in the satsang, be committed, be sincere, be subjective, and even while listening, we are repeating it. Scriptures are repeating it. One day, suddenly, it will flip. You will be it. But whenever we want to do something, we want to do something with the Prakriti. You cannot do anything with consciousness. If you do yoga, it is with the body. If you do pranayam, it is with the breath. If you do japa, it is with the mind. If you do meditation, it is with your intellect. So doing necessarily involves Prakriti. Panchakoshas or 4 koshas. Understand? Or Panchakoshas we will say. But we are not into the Panchakoshas. We said no, the 5 causes. We are there the activity is going on. We are not the doer. So who is Sumati? Who is not the doer? So here he says that He was awakened from his dream of the world and deep slumber of ignorance. You are sleeping nicely when in the satsang, and someone nudges you, hey man, and suddenly you wake up. And why you were, what was happening in the sleep? You were the king of a country and you got so many wives and so many wealth, and so you just won the war and the whole city is singing your praises, and you were so full of yourself, somebody nudged you and you woke up to the reality. What? Man, I'm in a satsang. What happened to the everything that was going in the dream? What happened to it? Immediately become zero, isn't it? It is like that. When the grace before comes upon us, we wake up from this waking dream, that very moment, this entire waking experience will become null and void. Null and void does not mean it will stop existing because you are still the body. Then what? You will not be disturbed by it even an iota. Why? You are abiding in the self as the self. Because we can't stop the mind. What is the nature of the mind? To think thoughts or not to think thoughts. Waking and dream, it is thinking. Deep sleep, it is not thinking. So don't try to create an unhealthy situation of not thinking thoughts. We don't want, so mind is thinking thoughts, okay, just change the quality of thoughts, change the quantity of thoughts, change the direction of the thoughts. No, you keep thinking, but okay, try this one. Take Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, see what happens. Effortlessly mold your mind in the other direction so that it stops becoming a problem. Very rare few people are there that suddenly it will happen to them. Whenever it happens suddenly. But very rare few without any sadhana. Huh? Why? Because of Purva Janma Sanskar. But here, as a sadhaka, as a seeker, we will say that you understand what is being told, follow the scriptures, make this knowledge your own, and make it your own, but don't own it. Make it your own means, what is the knowledge we are giving you? We are not giving you knowledge of the 5 causes. We are not giving you the knowledge that waking, dream, deep sleep, samadhi are the real experiences. No. Our continuously from chapter 1 till chapter 18, this 17th verse, continuously we are repeating again and again that Atma is the reality and you are that. Nowhere we have deviated from that. Every verse we bring you back to that point. To who woke him up by placing his hand over his head and patting it. How do we wake someone up? I don't know how you. If you,
Cold water.
Cold water, that is shock, man. Then you are ready for a beating after that, which I had done with my sister when I was young. Huh? Whenever I have to, there are sometimes it has happened when he was not well and I have to wake him up. Even in ashram, when Swamiji was not, he used to have terrible migraine and six lectures every day. And they used to send me as the scapegoat. So I had to go and see why Swamiji has not come. Class is running late. So I used to go and I see he's lying down. So how do I wake up? Swamiji? No answer. Swamiji? No answer. Then I'll open the door, pull the door up so it doesn't creak. It will then go in and gently touch his feet so that he doesn't get a shock. He must not jar a person into wakefulness. It's not right, because some people can even, if you can get heart attack, you can stop breathing in that shock. See? So here the Guru woke him up by how? By placing his hand over his head. See, gently, out of love, out of compassion, out of understanding. And if a Guru is strict also, it is only because he wants the best for you. And we are talking about teacher and student now. It's only because the Guru Maharaj is able to see the potential, that how simple it is, but your wrong thinking is not allowing it. So sometimes Sam, Adam, Adanda, Bhed, all the ways of cajoling, of compassion, of strictness, of punishment, all ways are used in order to bring you to your essential nature. In the end, you will only come to your essential nature, because nobody can help you in that. But what the teacher is telling you, doing is to help you change your direction of angle of approach, to make you disciplined, to make you inspired. If you are very, very stubborn, then some punishment is required. If that student is available, you can't give punishment to someone who is not available, you see. If you see some Buddhist monks movies, the student never, the teacher, the Zen monk never accepts the student in the first go. He has to do this. You see that 36 chambers of Shaolin, he tries and tries, the teacher doesn't accept. And when he does accept, he sweep the whole place. He kept, fill up the water. He says, I want to learn Kung Fu and you are asking me to fill up water. Fill up. What is that for? They're testing your resolve. And what is your resolve? Your resolve is that come what may, I am going to know myself in this lifetime. That is the resolve. The resolve is not that how many times I studied Bhagavad Gita. That is not our resolve. Our resolve is in this, at this moment, forget about this lifetime also. This moment, while the satsang is going on, I am going to take this opportunity to be. That's it. Because every moment it is available. I can't even use the word every moment, because moment also takes place in its presence. It is more continuous than than time. Time still has breaks, 1, 2, 3, 4. That has got no divisions in it. What? The Atma. It has got no divisions. So who woke him up by placing his hand over his head and patting it. Continuing in the 406th OV, तेव्हा मृगजळाचे पूर दिसते एक निरंतर हारपती का चंद्रकर फांकता जैसे का बाळत्व निघोनी जाय तै बागुला नाही त्राय पै जळालिया इंधन न होय इंधन जेवी नानाचे वो आलिया पाठी तै स्वप्न न दिसे दिठी तैसी अहम ममता किरीटी नुरेची तया मग सूर्यू अंधारा लागी रिघो का भलते सुरंगी परी तो तयाच्या भागी नाहीची जैसा Taisa atmatve veshtila hoye tozaya jaya drishyante pahe te drushya drushte panesi hot jahe taya chetsi rupa. He says, just as with the moonbeams the mirage disappears, or with the departure of childhood, the goblin does not remain an object of fear, or when the firewood is burnt, it cannot be used as firewood, or as dream disappears as soon as one wakes up, so his mind does not entertain the notions of I and mine, ahanta and mamata. Mamata is only because of attachment. Ahanta is ownership, mamata is is mine. I can't live without it. See? Or you can say ahanta is the doership and mamta is the ownership. That way you can put it. Attachment. So what are the examples? Just as with the moonbeam, the mirage. When does the mirage appear? Only, does it appear anytime? Can you see a mirage at night? No. Mirage can be seen only under specific conditions, isn't it? The sunbeam, sun rays have to be at a particular angle, the right moisture should be in the air. Only then you will be able to see the mirage. But as night approaches, mirage disappears. Where did it go? Hey, it was not there only in the first place. So where did it go? How can anything that which was not there go anywhere? Got it? How can that which was not existing but was only appearing, how can it go anywhere? Second example. Remember these, then we'll come back to the principle behind these examples. Second one, or with the departure of childhood, the goblin does not remain an object of fear. When we were kids, my father used to teach me, 2 ones are 2, 2 to the world. Poor, I was only 4, 5, stupid fellow, 6 years old, I think. 5, 6 years old. And I will be standing in the balcony, 2 ones are 2, 2 to the 4. Mummy, 2 3s are. She will say 6, 2 3s are 6. 2 4s are. I was not intelligent, you know. And then when I repeated the same mistake few times, Dad is hearing from the other room. They will come. And one day, these Buddhist monks with their elephants, they were going through this our locality, and the bhikshu, he had this big bag in which I didn't know, but they collect all. That time I didn't know, I was too young. But they used to collect whatever the grains or flour you give, they used to collect, and it used to look big. He used to say, look, what is that? I said, what is that? He'll say, that is a child, because he stopped, he did not learn the 2 on the 2 table. So their parents are given that child and they are taking him. Where? To the monastery. No, patapat, cry, this, that. Somehow we learned it. Then learn till 10. 11 is extra, no? The 2 digit. Again, after 1 year, the bhikshu came. If you don't learn, you are going. And he actually pulled me to the door. Oh, my God. Maybe that's why I became a bhikshuk. Because it went so deep. Because mentally he had given me away. He was so frustrated with me. See, nothing is coincidence. So today, if someone comes and tells me, if you don't give the lecture properly, I will give you to that bhikshu. Or I'll take you under that tree. There's a ghost on the tree. You think I'll say, I'm a bigger ghost. So that time, what small things could create fear, and parents would make us do things for our betterment. But those fears, they don't work today, isn't it? That's second example. Third example, the firewood is burnt, it cannot be used as firewood. Where is the fire? In the wood. The fire is used for fire, but once it is used up, used up for what? For the fire, isn't it? But how long will the fire be continuing to burn? As long as the fuel of wood is there. But once the wood is completely consumed by the fire, can you have the fire going on? Can you have the fire going on? No. Can you use the firewood again after it is burnt completely? No. Same is the story between aham and idam. If you focus on aham, if you focus on who am I, without getting distracted, uddharet atmanatmanam. If you focus on sleep, how long you have to focus on sleep? What is happening when you're focusing on sleep? All the thoughts of the waking are getting consumed, isn't it? And when all the last thought of the waking is consumed, will the thought of sleep remain? That also dies away. Why was it kept there? Only to count, because that was the flame. So who am I is the flame. And what is the fuel? All the aham is the flame. Who am I? Kastvam koham kutam ayataha. Bhaj Govindam says. From where have I come? Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Am I in the mind? Am I in the knees? Am I in the buttocks? I am in the tummy. Where am I? Who am I? And if you keep focusing on this, remain the witness. When you do this, you will be the witness. How long the witnessing will continue? As long as there is firewood in the form of thoughts, memories, desires, subconscious impressions, in other words, the vasanas, with the technical language, to be burnt. When it has burnt, then do you need to be aware? No. Then you don't need to be aware. You are aware of something, you are witnessing of something. So what is the difference between the doer and the witness? The doer is attached, witness is unattached. How long you have to keep witnessing? Can you straight away get there? Very few people. First, interim step, witness. Now that requires a lot of alertness. You have to pay the price because we are so, our natural disposition is to do something, to get something, do something only for some return. So I am doing, focusing on the self, I'm being aware, what am I going to, immediately the mind will come in. Hey, what are you doing this? What are you going to get out of it? You have to not get affected by the mental talk that is going on. You maintain, because even when that mental talk is going on, you are still the witness, no? Now that has to be, that is a very delicate dissection that you have to maintain that poise rather than get pulled into the drama of the mind. And the drama of the mind only happens by self-talk. Keep it, remain there. And that is the example of the firewood. So once you have come to abide in the consciousness as pure consciousness, then will you need the firewood for fire? No. Then will you need thoughts in order to know something? No, you are one without a second. You are the infinite thereafter. Well, thereafter in the if we are talking about the sequence. You are the infinite even right now, but you don't know it. This is the third example. Then next one. Or a dream disappears as soon as one wakes up. That he took in the previous 405th OV, that the moment we wake up, the dream disappears. The aham, the personality, the body, breath, mind, intellect, the waker, dreamer, sleeper in the dream, and all the me and mine, I and mine, my children, my family, my house, my investments, my sadhana, my gods, my health, my hunger, my food, whatever my was there, or my possessions, everything, that whole world that you were experiencing as real. You don't dream as a dream. You dream, when you are in the dream, it is waking for you till you wake up. When you wake up, then you realize, "Teri ki, wo to dream tha." So also we think this is waking, but actually, according to the Upanishads, this is also a waking dream. We need to wake up. Wake up to what? Wake up to ourselves, the true self. And for that, what you have to do? Naham kruto bhavaha. Naham kruto bhavaha. Do not be the doer in life. It requires a deep resolve within our mind and heart that I will not initiate many people anything in life. Many people say, "Swamiji, how many times you have been to Kailash?" I said 8 times. 9 times, I don't know. And I've been to India, every year I go, once, twice. "Oh, you go every year?" "Yes." "Oh, it must be taken." No, I never plan anything. People organize, people tell we want to go, so it happens. But is it my desire? No. If someone, why only trip? If someone says, "Swamiji, I want to have a class." If I have the time, not if, I find the time available to have a class. See, if they are true, they are sincere in their seeking, I will give my time. See? So don't you feel bad? So many people start Sanskrit, they go away. So many people start chanting, they go away. So many people come to the satsang and then they go away. Who cares, man? First, from my point, who cares? From the worldly point of view, at least the seed is placed. It will germinate when it has to germinate. See? But why should I think about them? You go with the flow. You are not wanting something and you are not wanting something. You understand? So, am I doing the satsang? No, I am not doing the satsang. It is happening. Then I am truly witnessing the speaking taking place. Are you listening the satsang? If you are the listening, then problem. No, listening is happening, then you are witnessing. This slight shift in our position. Ownership of listening, no ownership of listening. Ownership of speaking, no ownership of speaking. That's all. For that, a little bit cool disposition is required. Awareness is required. Or a dream disappears as soon as one wakes up, so his mind does not entertain the notions of I and mine. Where was the I and mine? In the dream. Everything got washed away like a big, what do you call? Pralay. Pralay, what is called that? Pralay, kya bolenge? Big flood. Dissolution. The entire dream world, which felt real when we were in the dream, completely in toto gets dissolved. We can't even remember after 1.5, 2 minutes what was going on in the dream. What did my wife look like? What were my children? What was the wealth that I had amassed? Can't remember. What was the value of that? When we were in the dream, it was so real. When we woke up, zero value. Can you go back to that dream? Can you go back to the dream wife? Can you go back to the dream children? Can you go back to the dream possessions? The dream body? Can you go back to that body? No. Then same thing will happen. Same thing will happen when you wake up from this waking dream. Then, but you just said that Mahatmas are also doing that. Yeah, for whom? For all the other people. For them, go and find out. Go and ask Ammachi when she comes, if she comes. Or if you go to India sometime, meet some Mahatmas. Ask this question. Don't waste their time just touching their feet. Ask questions, these type of questions. Then see, you're in for a surprise then. If the sun enters a cave in search of darkness, he can never see it there. So he who has realized the self sees no distinction between the object seen and the seer. Now we are coming to Ishvara Advayavad. Ishvara Advayavad means the standpoint of Jnaneshwar Maharaj. According to Kashmiri Shaivism, Parama Shiva alone is Shiva and Shakti. Pure consciousness, the Atman itself has become Aham and Idam. If Aham and Idam are one, okay, then I am that. Why to do any sadhana? Then you have to accept every Idam as Aham. Are you accepting your husband as I, as your children as I, as other friends as I, and their husbands also as I? I, not mine. I didn't use the word mine, as I. Just as you experience this body, that you are pervading this body everywhere. You are experiencing, you are pervading, because the child is born from your womb. Woman can experience this, that they have some other unspoken connection with the children, because they're extension of theirs. See? So they feel it's an extension of me. Can you, but that's still, it's still adulterated compared to what you are experiencing within the body. Every place, every cell, I alone am. And therefore, wherever we are, whatever has been included in the I don't hate it. So if my tongue is bitten by the teeth, I don't hate my teeth. A child who is without ego slaps the mother. Mother just catches the cheeks and gives him a kiss. She doesn't feel offended. But a teenager comes and gives a slap, then she had it or he had it, isn't it? Because now it's intentional. It is with doership. And that any person can see. See? What?
Are you saying that the I is expressed through the equipment?
Not I is expressed through the equipment. I'm not talking about that. That is Sankhya Yoga. We are talking about the essence, which is pure consciousness,
Yes.
itself is manifesting without losing itself. As the I subject
Yes.
and as the object.
Yes.
The water without becoming less water is expressing as the waves and the ocean.
Yes.
You understand what we are saying? He has not lost any aspect of his. He's still infinite, yet allowing the expression of the relative, the totality and the individuality.
Mhm.
And at the individuality level, the aham and idam. Can you? So initially we were talking about you have to drop the idam and be the aham, be the witness. Having come to abide in the witness, the next stage of sahaja bhav, natural state, is that everything, I alone am. I can't even say everything because there's no everything afterwards. I alone am.
Mhm.
So seeing is happening, but no seer is born. Hearing is happening, no hearer is born. Who is saying this? Not the master. The scriptures are saying that this is maximum we can talk about a realized master.
Mhm.
Then people who are watching him, why doesn't he get disturbed? Why do we get attracted to him? Why we feel blessed in his presence? Because there is no ahanta, there is no ego. Why do we play with the small children? There is no ego. Isn't it?
Yes.
Why do we want to be in but the child doesn't have the wisdom. Master, he is wise. We are saying he's a master. He is abiding in absolute consciousness. Abiding, he is absolute consciousness. But we, because we are identified with his body, we are still in the relative. We see him. But you ask him, he is not only that body, he is everybody. Swamiji was giving one example the other day. He said, Ramana Maharishi was sitting there and one person came from Chennai and he said, Swamiji, my father is very sick and we have taken him to every doctor, but his stomach ache is not going and this and that. We have tried allopathic, we have tried this medicine. He said, okay, take this and you give it to your father. Take this. He sent a letter actually, not even come. And the secretary brought it and he said, okay, take this ginger and honey and you give it to him and it will fix him. That concoction. So then suddenly he said, Arey, don't we have ginger in our kitchen? Yes. Do we have honey in the kitchen? Yes. He brought it. Now give it to me. And he drank. He took 2 spoons of it there. The moment he took those 2 spoons of that concoction there, in Chennai, which is about 180 kilometers away, something like that, that person who was having this terrible stomach ache got healed. How is it possible? These things a common man, a person who is extroverted can never understand. It can never. One who is if from relative point I'm using, because our communications in the relative, from relative point, the language is all inclusive consciousness, where the creator is consciousness and the material also is consciousness. Then alone these things happen. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a minute.